cannot. Kim's only family members are her two daughters, Annabelle and Rose.
I have retrieved the CCTV footage around the house, and there are no signs of anyone entering or leaving the house during the time of the crime.
So that means that it must have been either of the daughters that committed the crime.
I will send them in for interrogation.
Please take a seat. Thank you for your time. I'll be asking you a few questions. Firstly, where were you between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the 7th of July 2015?
I was at Bugis Junction getting some stuff.
Were you alone or can anyone bear witness to you being there?
I'm alone.
Do you know where your sister was between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the 7th of July 2015?
How would I know?
How was your relationship with your mother?
But I think that she recently had a conflict with my sister.
Do you know what the conflict was about?
Something about grades, I'm not sure.
How's your relationship with your sister?
Okay, it's fine.
Do you know if your mother had any conflicts with anyone else recently?
No, I don't know.
Okay. We will need your fingerprints to aid in our investigation.
Okay.
And your signature. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. I'll be asking you a few questions. Firstly, where were you between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the 7th of July 2015?
I was at home sleeping.
Do you know where your sister was at the time?
I don't know, somewhere around the house.
How was your relationship with your mother?
We were very close.
How was your relationship with your sister?
She didn't talk to me much.
How was the relationship between your sister and your mother?
They had a number of conflicts.
What over?
When she was growing up, she was more rebellious, I guess.
Do you know if your mother had any conflicts with anyone else recently?
No.
Okay. We'll need your fingerprints to aid in the investigation.
We can use chromatography to test for different substances. It involves the flow of a mobile substance across a layer of a stationary substance. In this case, we made use of chromatography to test the inks on the victim's suicide note in order to learn whether the note was forged. The retention factor is measured by the distance covered by the substance from the solvent front over the distance covered by the front of the mobile face from the solvent front. If the RF values of the inks are different, then we can make a conclusion of whether the note was forged. This is the procedure of how we are going to use chromatography to find out if the note was forged. Firstly, with a pencil, draw a straight horizontal line about 2 cm from the bottom of a chromatography paper for 4 chromatography papers. Next, using the 2 different pens found at the crime scene, make a dot in the middle of the line on the chromatography paper. Cut out individual letters from the suicide note found at the crime scene. Drip 2 drops of ethanol and 2 drops of distilled water into a well of the well tray. Place each letter into a well in the plate and let the solvent soak the paper for 5 minutes. Use the capillary tube to extract a drop of the dissolved ink. Drip a drop of the dissolved solution in the middle of the line on a chromatography paper. Do the same for each sample. Fill 4 identical boiling tubes with water until it reaches a height of 1 cm. Slot each chromatography paper into a boiling tube and use a clip to hold it in place. When the water has risen up over 3/4 of the chromatography paper, remove the chromatography paper. Lastly, analyze the results. After analyzing the chromatogram results and calculating the RF values of the chromatogram, we can conclude that the inks used in the suicide note were different, and thus the suicide note was forged, meaning that Christine Chong did not commit suicide.
the scene. We're hoping that you can help us retrieve any fingerprints that can be found on you.
Yeah, humans have epidermal elevations that form patterns in the skin on their fingertips and palms. When someone touches something, the sweat glands under our skin secrete a water-based oil solution that leaves a residue on the object. Because fingerprints are unique to every individual, they use these fingerprints to identify individuals.
The powder dusting method is the most commonly known method of developing latent prints, which are prints that are not visible to the naked eye. The powder is gently applied to a surface, and the powder particles stick to the oils and perspiration, which form the common latent residue on fingers and bring out the rich patterns, making the fingerprint visible. These prints are then lifted using adhesive tape. For dusting to work, the surface that is being dusted must be completely dry and free of other contamination. This is the procedure of fingerprinting. Firstly, gently pour powder onto the handle of the knife. Next, using a brush, gently brush the powder over the area. Then, gently brush away the excess powder. Using scissors, cut a length of the transparent cellophane tape and stick it over the fingerprint. Something to be noted is that the section of the tape used to lift the print should be free of smudges and prints, as this may affect the analysis of the fingerprints. There should also be no air bubbles when the tape is laid onto the print, as air bubbles will distort the print and render it useless. Remove the tape and adhere it onto a glass slide for examination of the fingerprint. Lastly, examine the fingerprint pattern. We have scanned the fingerprints of the two suspects as well as the fingerprint found on the murder weapon and inserted them into the automated fingerprint identification system.
After some analysis, we found a match of Rosalind's fingerprint and the fingerprint found on the murder weapon.
Mom, ada pintu of 24 as a high class.
But can you get like 4 marks? Can you do better? You like the subject what?
But Mom, I got 7 out of 12.
Oh yeah, it's okay lah. 加油, work harder next time. Hey Bella, I know you're studying very hard, so I give you a last chocolate bar. I know you like it.
Thank you, but what about the...
She's listening to music, how to study one?
I know you like it, so I give you more. Thanks, Mom.
Where are you going?
Why do you
Bella.
Just out again,
Yeah, I don't know why she's going out so much.
It's okay.
Why can't she be more like you? I'm just really glad that the girls have jobs now. Like, I really hope that Charlotte could quickly move out. She's been such a burden to me all her life. I really don't know what to do with her anymore. I just really wish that she would move out and like get out of her own.
Oh no, what do I do? What have I done? Mom, sorry.
Through the process of chromatography, we have confirmed that the suicide note of Christine Chong was forged. Through the process of fingerprinting, we have also confirmed that Rose Lim's fingerprint matches the one on the murder weapon. Thus, we can conclude that Rose Lim was the murderer of Christine Chong.
What are you doing?
Rose Lim, you are under arrest for the murder of Christine Chong.
I'm telling you I'm innocent. I'm innocent.